Why do people with the biggest savings accounts often struggle the most with inflation?
Why does your bank give you 0.5% interest while everything you buy increases by 6%, 8%, or even 10% a year? Why does saving money sound responsible but mathematically traps you in slow financial decline? If saving money is supposed to make us financially secure, then why does almost every financially secure person rely on investing, not saving? Could it be that saving money, the one habit everyone praises, is the exact habit that keeps most people stuck in the middle class forever?
You ever been told that the secret to becoming wealthy is simple?
Just save your money. Your parents said it. Your teachers repeated it. Your bank advertises it on every billboard. In this video, we start breaking down the uncomfortable truth. Saving money can quietly, mathematically, and psychologically make you poorer. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why this happens and what you must do instead.
Welcome back to the Profit Decode. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because today we're going to challenge everything you thought you knew about money. Now, before we go any further, let me be clear. I'm not saying you should spend all your money recklessly. I'm not telling you to go buy a sports car or blow your savings on lottery tickets. What I am saying is that there's a massive difference between saving money and building wealth, and most people don't know the difference. See, we've been conditioned to believe that having money in the bank equals financial security, but that's only half the story, because money sitting idle isn't just doing nothing, it's actively losing value.
In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how inflation is secretly stealing your wealth, why your safe savings account is actually risky, the opportunity cost that nobody talks about, real examples of how saving made people poorer, and most importantly, what you should be doing instead. This isn't about getting rich quick. This is about understanding how money actually works in the real world, not in some fantasy where your savings account is a treasure chest that grows on its own. So, let's dive in. The inflation monster.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. Inflation.
Now I know what you're thinking. Inflation. That's boring economic stuff, but stick with me, because this is where your money is vanishing. Imagine you have $10,000 in your savings account right now. You're earning 1.5% interest. Sounds reasonable, right? You're making $150 a year while doing absolutely nothing.
But here's what they don't tell you. If inflation is running at 3%, 4%, or even higher, which it has been in recent years, you're not making money, you're losing money.
Let me break it down.
If inflation is 4% and you're earning 1.5% interest, you're losing 2.5% of your purchasing power every single year.
That $10,000, in real terms, it's worth $9,750 after just 1 year. After 5 years, you've lost over $1,200 in purchasing power. After 10 years, your $10,000 can only buy what $7,800 could buy today.
You didn't spend a penny. You were responsible. You saved, and yet you got poorer. Think about what $100 could buy you 10 years ago versus today. More groceries, right? Cheaper gas, a nicer meal at a restaurant. That's inflation. That's your money losing value.
And here's the scary part. Official inflation numbers often understate the real cost of living. They use complicated formulas and exclude things like food and energy. You know, the things you actually buy every day. The real inflation you experience in your life is probably even higher than the official numbers.
So when someone tells you to just save money, they're basically telling you to watch your wealth slowly evaporate. It's like filling a bucket with water while someone's poking holes in the bottom. Sure, the water level might go up, but you're fighting a losing battle.
The first rule of wealth. Your money needs to grow faster than inflation. If it doesn't, you're going backwards. The opportunity cost trap.
Now let's talk about something even more dangerous than inflation. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the fancy economic term for what you missed out on.
And when it comes to saving money, what you're missing out on is massive. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you have $10,000 sitting in your savings account, earning that 1.5% interest. Over 10 years, you'll have about $11,600. You made $1,600. Congratulations. Now, what if instead of parking that money in a savings account, you had invested it in a simple index fund that tracks the stock market? Historically, the stock market returns about 10% per year on average over long periods. That same $10,000 growing at 10% per year for 10 years becomes $25,900. That's $14,300 in gains. The difference, $12,700. By playing it safe and keeping your money in savings, you didn't just miss out on $12,700. You made a choice, consciously or unconsciously, to be $12,700 poor. That's opportunity cost. But it gets worse. Let's extend this to 30 years, roughly your working lifetime. $10,000 in savings at 1.5% becomes $15,600. Not bad, you might think. But that same $10,000 invested at 10% becomes $174,000. Read that again. $174,000 versus $15,600. The safe choice cost you $158,400. That's not just opportunity cost. That's opportunity devastation. Now, imagine you're not just doing this with $10,000. Imagine you're doing this with every dollar you earn over 30 years. Every paycheck that goes into savings instead of investments. Every bonus. Every tax refund. The total amount of wealth you're leaving on the table is mind-boggling. And here's what really keeps me up at night. Most people never realize this is happening. They look at their savings account, see it growing slowly, and think they're doing fine. They never calculate what they could have had. They never see the invisible loss. The second rule of wealth: the cost of playing it safe is often higher than the risk of investing wisely. The psychology of safe money. So if saving money is such a bad deal, why do we all do it? The answer is psychology. And it's powerful. There's something deeply comforting about seeing a number in your bank account. It feels safe. It feels secure. You can log in anytime and see it there, unchanged, stable. Compare that to investments. Stocks go up and down. Real estate values fluctuate. You might check your investment account and see you're down 5% this month. That feels scary. That feels risky. But here's the psychological trap. We confuse familiarity with safety. Your savings account feels safe because you can see the money and access it anytime. But as we've already discussed, it's not actually safe from inflation. It's not safe from opportunity cost. It's only safe from short-term volatility. And you're paying a massive long-term price for that short-term comfort. There's a concept in psychology called loss aversion. Research shows that humans feel the pain of losing money about twice as strongly as we feel the pleasure of gaining money. So when you see your investment portfolio drop 10%, it hurts. But when you don't see your savings account losing 3% to inflation every year, it doesn't hurt at all, even though the second scenario is guaranteed and the first one is temporary. We're wired to avoid visible losses, even when it means accepting invisible ones. Think about it like this. Imagine you're on a sinking ship. One lifeboat looks sturdy and comfortable, but it has a slow leak. Another lifeboat looks a bit rickety, but it's actually seaworthy. Which one do you choose? Most people choose the comfortable one because the leak is invisible. They don't notice they're slowly sinking until it's too late. That's what a savings account is. A comfortable lifeboat with an invisible leak called inflation. The third rule of wealth: real safety comes from growth, not from standing still. Real world examples. Let me share some real examples that might hit close to home. Example 1. The cautious couple. Describe. Meet John and Sarah. In 2000, they had $50,000 saved up. They were in their 30s, thinking about the future. John wanted to invest in the stock market, but Sarah was nervous. "What if we lose it all?" she said. So they compromised and kept it in a high-yield savings account. Fast forward to 2020. They now have about $68,000. They more than doubled their money? Not exactly. Adjusted for inflation, that $50,000 in 2000 would need to be $77,000 in 2020 just to have the same purchasing power. So despite saving for 20 years, they actually lost money. Meanwhile, if they had invested that $50,000 in an S&P 500 index fund, even with the 2008 crash, they'd have over $200,000. By playing it safe, they cost themselves $132,000. Example 2. The emergency fund mistake. Here's another one. Financial experts always say keep 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. Solid advice, right? Well, yes and no. You should have emergency money accessible, but there's a difference between $5,000 in an emergency fund and $50,000. I know someone who kept $80,000 in their checking account for emergencies for 5 years at 0 interest. With 3% annual inflation, that money lost about $12,000 in purchasing power. For what? The comfort of knowing it was there. They could have kept $20,000 accessible and invested the other $60,000. Even in conservative investments earning 5%, that $60,000 would have grown to $76,500, and more importantly, it would have kept pace with or exceeded inflation. Example 3. The inheritance. Last example. A friend's grandmother passed away and left her $100,000. My friend was 25 at the time. Everyone told her, put it in the bank, keep it safe. Don't risk it. She listened. For 15 years, that money sat in savings, earning minimal interest. She's 40 now. That $100,000 is now worth maybe $115,000. But in real purchasing power, with inflation factored in, it's worth about $75,000 in today's dollars. She literally lost $25,000 by keeping it safe. If she had invested it, even conservatively, she could have had $400,000 or more by now. Life-changing money, retire early money. Instead, she has savings that can barely make a down payment on a house in today's market. These aren't extreme cases. This is happening to millions of people right now. Maybe it's happening to you. What you should do instead. Okay, so if saving money can make you poorer, what should you do instead? Let me be crystal clear. You still need savings, but you need the right kind of savings. And you need to know the difference between saving and investing. Step 1, keep a small emergency fund. Yes, keep 3 ICE 6 months of expenses in an easily accessible savings account. This is for real emergencies. Job loss, medical bills, car repairs. This money needs to be liquid and safe. But here's the key. Only keep that much in savings. Anything beyond your emergency fund should be put to work. Step 2. Understand the difference between saving and investing. Saving is for short-term goals and emergencies. Money you'll need in the next one. 3 years should be in safe, liquid accounts. Investing is for long-term wealth building. Money you won't need for 5+ years should be invested where it can grow. The mistake people make is treating all their money like emergency money. They save $50,000, $100,000, or more in regular savings accounts, just in case. That's not preparing for emergencies. That's slowly going broke. Step 3, invest in assets that grow. What should you invest in? Here are some options. Stock market index funds. Historically return 10% annually over long periods. Low cost, diversified, and proven over decades. Real estate, either through rental properties or REITs, real estate investment trusts. Property values generally keep pace with or exceed inflation. Retirement accounts, 401ks, and IRAs give you tax advantages that supercharge your growth. skills and education, investing in yourself, learning new skills, getting certifications, building a business often has the highest return of all.
Step 4. Start now, not later.
The biggest killer of wealth isn't market crashes or bad investments. It's waiting. Every year you delay is a year of growth you'll never get back. Thanks to compound interest, the earlier you start, the exponentially more you'll have later.
Someone who invests $5,000 per year starting at age 25 will have more at retirement than someone who invests $10,000 per year starting at age 35, even though the second person contributed more money. That's the power of time.
Step 5. Accept smart risk. Look, I get it. Investing feels risky, but you know what's actually risky? Guaranteeing that your money loses value by leaving it in savings.
The stock market goes up and down in the short term, but over any 20-year period in history, it has always gone up. Always. Real estate cycles go up and down, but over time, property values increase.
The risk of investing is temporary. The risk of not investing is permanent.
So let's bring this all together.
Saving money isn't bad, but saving money in the wrong place, in the wrong way, for the wrong reasons, that can absolutely make you poorer. When you keep large amounts of money in low-interest savings accounts, 3 things are working against you. Inflation is eroding your purchasing power.
Opportunity cost is stealing your potential wealth. Psychology is making you feel safe when you're actually in danger.
The comfortable choice, keeping money in the bank, is often the most expensive choice you'll ever make. But here's the good news. Now you know, and knowledge is the first step toward wealth. You don't need to be a financial genius. You don't need to pick individual stocks or become a real estate mogul. You just need to understand that money is a tool, and tools that sit unused don't just stay the same. They rust. Your money should be working as hard as you do. Every dollar that's sitting idle is a dollar that's slowly dying.
So here's my challenge to you. Look at your savings account right now. Calculate how much you have above your emergency fund. That's money that could be growing, compounding, building your future wealth.
What are you going to do with it?
Remember, the goal isn't to get rich quick. The goal is to not get poor slowly.
If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges what you think you know about money. Drop a comment below. Tell me, how much do you keep in savings? Do you think you should be investing more?
And if you want to learn exactly how to start investing, check out my next video where I break down the simple steps anyone can take to start building real wealth.
Until next time, stop saving and start growing. Description.